So yesterday we got our very first real trailer and real look at the new Superman movie coming out July 11th next year by James Gunn. Did my reaction to it, I did my little shorts video on it, but I wanted once again to kind of come back and just talk about it a little bit more. It's been a full day since the trailer. I've had time to kind of sit with it. And while I am still very positive on that trailer, you know, when you first watch something that you're excited about, you kind of have those rose shaded glasses on. And admittedly so, I'm such a big Superman fan that I'm just excited that we are getting Superman to the big screen. But I did kind of want to give my after the trailer thoughts a little bit and also see how you guys are feeling about it a day after it's been released. So let me start off by saying that I liked this trailer. I think that it was a good trailer. Now, it is probably true that I am a little bit primed to like it. Being such a Superman fan, not having really a solo Superman film since Man of Steel, am kind of set up in general just to like this film, at least the trailer, and I did. It being a teaser trailer, an introduction to the vibe and what we're going to be introduced to when this movie comes out, I think it accomplished that, and I think it did it well. I think that the opening of this trailer showing Superman beat down and he's calling for help and he's all bloody, it was a bold move, and showing that vulnerable side of Superman that we know is there. It just, to see it right off the bat like that, it was interesting. Immediately threw you into the moment. At least for me, it did. Krypto showing up to help out Superman. Krypto does not bug me nearly as much as he did when we got our first look at him. I thought he was gonna be this little brown, scruffy looking dog. It looked like he just jumped out of a garbage can. And I won't lie, it still looks like he jumped out of a garbage can, but it looked like he took a bath afterward. I think he looks the part. I definitely think the dog is gonna grow on me. It's not something that I'm hung up on at all. I know traditionally, he is a lab. Personally, I would like Krypto to be a pit. So, I mean, you know, different strokes, different folks. Also, immediately when we get into the trailer, we have the John Williams score done with this 80s sounding guitar riff that I think does extremely well to throw you into the vibe in the moment of this trailer. When the rumors came out that James Gunn was going to do this kind of rock and roll type of twist to the John Williams score, I was so skeptical. Not what I wanted, not what we needed, and it's not Superman. But seeing it, hearing it in the context of this trailer, I think it worked well. I think it did a lot to bring out that inspiring and hopeful vibe and feeling that Superman is or should be. So I think that it was cool. I don't mind that score at all. Could be possible that it's just for the trailer. Maybe they do something different, closer to the version that they had in the poster in the actual movie, which I'm also fine with. I like that version as well. I also see a lot of complaints going around about the Superman suit itself. I admit that in the snow, it did look a little bit dark, not as bright as we've seen in some pictures, photos, and small footage before. And I have a really weird relationship with this suit because I like the idea of the suit. I like the collar. I like where the cape sits. I like the trunks. It's very classic Superman. I want that. But at times it does look a little bit CW-ish. It looks baggy, it looks big, it doesn't allow for David Cornsweet and his physique to show, and I think that that is a little bit weird. We may not need a bodybuilder type of Superman as far as his look goes, but I still think that he should be muscular. He's Superman. I think that there is a lot of shots that take that away from David Cornsweet, which is a shame because I know that he's put in a lot of work getting in shape for this role. On the other side of things, with his Clark Kent look, I dig it. He looks like a nerd. He looks silly. He looks goofy. The mop on his head is wild as hell, but I think it fits. I think it works. I don't know if I'm crazy about Clark having such a deep voice. I saw this thing on Snapchat. Let me show you.
Hey, do you guys mind watching Superman for a second?
Sorry, watching who?
Lining up here.
Who are you supposed to be watching?
Is it me or does that sound a little bit weird? Or am I just putting too much thought into it? I just feel like there's not enough fear in his voice and caution and woe in his voice as I would like, but you know, that's what 2 seconds or so. So maybe we'll just need to see the full movie or the next trailer to really see what direction they're going to take Clark Kent in. Also, I think that they did a good job with the world building in this trailer. It definitely looks very big. It looks massive. It looks really cool. It looks like this world is lived in. We know that Superman is coming at a time where heroes have kind of been a thing instead of him being kind of the first one, because the truth is we don't need an origin story for Superman. Everybody knows where he comes from. Everybody knows that he's an alien, and everybody knows his backstory. We don't need it. Maybe a couple flashbacks just showing that part of his life is cool, but the fact that this universe is lived in, heroes are established, I think is a dope and different way to approach a Superman story. Now, even though that this world does look big, it does look wide in scope, I do admit this is a critique that I maybe have missed in my reaction, and I said that the effects looked better than they did in the teaser trailer, and I still think that they do. However, watching it a couple times, some of the CGI and the effects do look a little bit wonky. The kaiju does look a little bit silly, a little bit cartoonish. The power of Green Lantern, it does look a little CW. I know that people are tripping on Guy Gardner looking so goofy and his bowl haircut. It doesn't really bother me. The set photo showed what he was gonna look like. I know that they were kind of trying to attack the look from the comics. It doesn't bother me. I think that his performance for the character is going to make or break that guy. And if he ends up playing the role really well, I don't think it's a big deal that he looks like a 70s doofus. One thing that I mentioned, that this trailer did a good job to set the tone and the vibe of the story that we're going to be walking into. And I think that it does do a great job at that. I think that you can see this kind of Kingdom Come influence that they may incorporate into this story. A lot of the public is not a fan of Superman, and I think that that has a lot to do with the fact that the heroes who are established now are heroes who may be doing it for the fame, or they're more vigilante-like, and they're maybe not on board with this more traditional version of a hero that Superman is. And instead of him being an old man coming back to show these heroes on how it's done, he is a young guy who is newly inspired, full of hope, and gonna show these folks how to get it done and do it the right way. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor also intrigues me a lot, because I personally think that he's going to take a lot of his Lex inspiration from Michael Rosenbaum's performance in Smallville. And the reason why I say that is because James Gunn and Michael Rosenbaum are good friends. He was on the Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum saying how he thought that Michael Rosenbaum's version of Lex was probably the best and was his favorite version.
All right, so if there were a Lex Luthor.
If there were a Lex Luthor, okay.
If there were a Lex Luthor in this movie, and there's a lot of other villains, so it may not be Lex Luthor.
And you are the best Lex. Let's admit it. We know you're the best Lex.
Come on, you're being funny.
I'm not being funny. You're definitely the best Lex.
Really?
Definitely.
So I think that is going to play a part, and I'm all for that, because that version of Lex is also my favorite as well. It never replaced Gene Hackman, but Michael Rosenbaum, I love the way that he played Lex and his ability to dive into that character and show the menacing but smart and crazy intelligence of that character. I think he does a great job, and if Nicholas Hoult can capture that about Lex, I think it'll be a great performance and something to enjoy. I do wonder if this weird looking Game of Thrones Ice King guy is Bizarro. A lot of rumors that he's Metamorpho. I definitely don't think he's Brainiac, even though I mentioned that yesterday in my reaction video. Or if he ends up just being a completely different character altogether. Ultraman maybe turned Bizarro. We know that those are the rumors, that there will be some kind of Superman clone, and maybe he does deteriorate or whatever the case may be. But I am interested to see if he is maybe the bigger villain of the movie other than Lex Luthor. It's a very mixed bag right now out there on the internet with these reactions to the trailer. A lot of people liked it, a lot of people didn't. Personally, for me, I think that it did what it was supposed to. I think that there are definitely areas where they need to touch up and do a little bit better by the time this film comes out, but it hit the right beats for me. There's a lot of great shots in the trailer, one of them being Superman saving that kid from the seemingly kaiju behind them. I think that is a beautiful shot and definitely a poster worthy shot of Superman being Superman. I think that so far this movie looks like a classic Superman story, going back to form a little bit, heavily inspired from the Christopher Reeve version, and I like that. I'm all here for that. I think that we could all use the little bit of that Superman hope in our lives right now, and I'm excited. I'm so excited to see this movie next year. We need to hurry up. July, hurry up and get here. One thing that I am very curious about though is if James Gunn is going to take a Marvel approach to this new story of an established character. What I mean, the scene where Clark and Paul Kent are sitting on the porch and Paul Kent looks a little bit distraught. We don't really see his face, but he looks like, you know, he's feeling a little bit emotional. Clark looks a little bit upset. It's a very tense situation that's going on there. I wonder if James Gunn is flipping stuff around this time to where Ma Kent dies and John Kent maybe is around to help Clark form this identity of Superman and hiding his true identity and learning how to play both fields. I know that there have been comic iterations where that kind of happens and John doesn't die right away, but we didn't get Martha at all in that trailer, at least not that I saw. So I wonder if that would be interesting. Let me know how you would feel about that. A lot of people didn't really mind it in Spider-Man's story when instead of Uncle Ben being the one to use the "with great power comes great responsibility" line and dying, it was his Aunt May, and it seemed to be received pretty well. It wasn't crazy tipping block. So I wonder if that is something that James Gunn maybe will do, or if they just decided to keep Martha out of the trailer for whatever reason. Let me know how you would feel about that. If you're down with that, if you think it's a dumb idea, just a thought that came across my head. But there it is. That is my final thoughts on yesterday's first trailer of James Gunn's Superman movie, July 11th next year. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited, still a little worried. I hope that it's everything that I think it can be. If you did stay to the end of this video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button, push this video out to more people, and also consider subscribing to the channel. That way you don't miss any of the future videos that I put out. I got a feeling the Superman talk is gonna go on for a little while, so I invite you to come along for the ride. But y'all know how I go, man. I'm out. Stay smooth, stay geeked up.